The insignificant female supporting character actually became a big shot in the novel. Chapter 16 to 20. The system wanted to pass out. After listening to his grandfather's reprimands, Suzanne pursed his lips and explained, "Our marriage is a secret to the public. If we act rashly, I'm afraid that others will be suspicious." Zai Wen finished the tea in her cup and refilled Suzu and Suzanne's cups. Then, she said with a smile, "Grandpa, it's fine. I can solve this on my own. Besides, I've already left the entertainment industry. There's no need to care about what other people say about me. They're just talking for fun. If I'm affected by their words and end up feeling sad, then they'll be proud. The more they attack me, the more outstanding I want to become." Su Ziu felt even more satisfied when he saw how confident Zai Wen was. The system could not help but remind her, "Host, I'm asking you to complain to the old man and accuse Suzanne." "What are you doing?" Zai Wen ignored its words. "Are you really planning to leave the industry?" Su Ziu continued. She nodded. Su Ziu looked at Suzanne thoughtfully. "You're at fault in this matter. If Wanwen likes acting, you should help pave the way for her. If it wasn't for you, Wanwen wouldn't have been forced to leave the industry." The system was dumbfounded. The host had not even complained, so why was the old man blaming Suzanne? Zai Jin said smugly, "This is the charm of language. Anyway, I've completed the temporary task you assigned me, right? Are there any benefits?" It really couldn't figure out where the plot was heading. After taking a deep breath, the system said helplessly, "Yes, I'll give you a skin beautifying pill to keep your skin in a good condition. It'll be better than those female celebrities who spend 8-figure sums of money on beauty." Zai Wen's eyes lit up. "That sounds good. Quick, let me use it." The system said helplessly, "I've already used it. I can't tell for the time being because your skin is in good condition to begin with. Other people will have skin problems, but you don't." Zai Wen was instantly elated when she heard that. At this time, Suzanne was not feeling good. His eye twitched. Why couldn't this matter be resolved? Also, why was he the one being scolded? Enduring Su Zu's condemning gaze, Suzanne had no choice but to say to Zai Wen, "Do you still want to return to the entertainment industry? If you want to go back, I'll help you solve any problems you encounter." He had not made a move before, but once he did, these problems wouldn't exist anymore. Zai Wen waved her hand. "It's okay. I'm not an artist anymore, but rather an investor. That way, I can earn money in the entertainment industry, and I also don't have to be at the mercy of others." How great is that? Before Suzanne could say anything, the old man smiled and agreed. "Yes, that's better. Wanwen is still the smartest." In fact, many people in their circle looked down on celebrities from the entertainment industry. It was a mess, and many people had to sacrifice something in order to get into the industry. Although Wanwen would not be subjected to unspoken rules in the industry with his grandson's protection, it was still good to be able to stop being an actor and become an investor. The old master was very satisfied with this. Suzanne, on the other hand, was a little surprised. He had also seen news of Zai Wen's retirement from the entertainment industry and thought that she couldn't stand the hardships of the entertainment industry. He didn't expect her to change her career entirely. She had improved a lot compared to her previous life. The old master and the young madam chuckled as they spoke with each other, automatically ignoring Suzanne, who was sitting in the corner, still deep in thought. It was only when Uncle Lin appeared and said that the meal was ready that they stopped talking. Zai Jin held on to Su Ziu's arm and supported him as he walked. This time, they took the elevator down. It was only then did she realize that there was an elevator installed in the villa. She glanced at Suzanne with some resentment. Since there was an elevator, why didn't they take it up here earlier? At this moment, Suzanne completely did not understand what Zai Wen's gaze meant. His mind was in a mess. Su Ziu looked at the interaction between the two and thought that they had a good relationship, so he smiled even more heartily. When they reached the dining hall, Zai Wen sat down at the dining table and looked at the few dishes on it. Every one of them looked appetizing, and she couldn't help but gulp at the sight. Su Ziu noticed that Zai Wen's eyes were fixed on the food. He wanted the young'uns to eat more, so he smiled and said, "Eat more if you like the food. If you can't finish it, you can take it away." Zai Wen's eyes brightened. "Then I won't hesitate." Su Ziu laughed out loud. All right, eat more. There will be enough. The Su family is awesome." Zai Wen did exactly as she said she would. Although her movements were somewhat reserved, she was fast and precise, and many dishes entered her stomach. Su Ziu was originally discussing company matters with Suzanne, but when he noticed Zai Wen's actions, he stopped the conversation and picked up a piece of fish for Zai Wen, putting it on her plate. Here, try this and see if you like it. Zai Wen's eyes narrowed into slits as she smiled. Thank you, Grandpa. When she ate the fish, she exclaimed, wow, it's delicious. You're so nice, Grandpa. Su Ziu laughed even more heartily at her words and began his feeding plan. He gave Zai Wen every dish, and Zai Wen opted to humor him. She happily ate everything that he gave her, only stopping when she couldn't eat anymore. Su Zun was ignored the entire time this was happening, but when he saw Su Ziu's happy expression, he felt that it didn't matter as long as the old man was happy. If Zai Wen could keep making the old master happy, he didn't mind giving her some help. When it was time for them to leave, Su Ziu was still talking to Zai Wen. She generously expressed that he would come back to see Su Ziu soon, and only then did he let them leave. When they returned to the car, Zai Wen's smile disappeared. She was completely silent, quite different from when she was in front of Su Ziu. Su Zun was shocked by her sudden change in expression, but he remained calm on the surface. I don't care if you're trying to please the old master or not. If you can keep making him happy, I'll give you some benefits. If you want to invest, I can give you the money. If you want to act, I can give you the role of the female lead. I have all the endorsements you want. I have top clothing experts and designers here. However, you can't do anything disruptive. You must always remember your identity, and you can't do anything that will embarrass the Su family. Zai Wen knew that Su Zun was hinting at her relationship with Ling Feng. However, when she heard what he said, she was really moved. She knew that the Su family was powerful, but she didn't expect them to be this powerful. She immediately put on her signature smile. Of course, don't worry, no matter how much Ling Feng pesters me, I won't bother with him. If he likes me, then I'll let him be single. After all, compared to him, I like your face more. The corners of Su Zun's mouth twitched and he stopped talking. The system was anxiously watching the exchange. Host, you can shut up if you don't know how to talk. Who would be happy to hear that you like them just because of their face? Oh no, you've already offended Ling Feng, so don't tell me that you're going to offend Su Zun too. Zai Wen grinned at the system. You're not human. You don't understand at all. I think Su Zun is very satisfied with me. Are your eyes okay? How can you tell that he's satisfied with you? I'm not convinced of anything else. But your confidence, frankly. Zai Wen could not be bothered to waste her breath on the system after that. She put on her earphones and started listening to music. This driver was really good at driving. Seeing that the person next to her had closed her eyes to rest, Su Zun glanced at her. He found that she was particularly relaxed when facing him, as if she really treated him as one of her own. He clenched his fists tightly as he recalled the events in his mind. Some things seemed to have changed. For example, when she came to visit the old man in their previous life, Zai Wen had not been nearly as enthusiastic and did not know how to make tea at all. Could it be that she had a different experience? Su Zun's expression was pensive, as if he was thinking about something. At this time, Zai Wen, who was in a deep sleep, had no idea that Su Zun had already begun to suspect her. She was still immersed in her beautiful dream. Su Zun turned on his phone and searched for Zai Wen's name. Everything he found was about her retiring from the industry. Some news articles even said that Zai Wen was originally competing for the female lead role in the crew of Prosperous Like a Dream, but played tricks behind Jiang Ran's back, so the director and producer of the crew were unhappy and kicked Zai Wen out of the crew. There was also news that Jiang Ran had already been chosen as the female lead. He then swiped down the screen to look at some comments these people were making about Zai Wen. Su Zun's eyes narrowed dangerously. Even if he didn't care about Zai Wen, she was still the wife of the Su family. How could he allow the people on the internet to lambaste her like that? Making a move, Su Zun made a call, which the party at the other end quickly picked up. His voice was cold. Get the public relations team to come forward and clear up all the scandals that can be cleared up regarding Zai Wen. The staff member's puzzled voice came from the other end. But President Su, Zai Wen isn't an artist signed on with our company. Could it be that President Su was preparing to sign Zai Wen on? But didn't Zai Wen say that she had retired from the entertainment industry, and in a high-profile manner, to boot? Su Zun's tone was a little impatient as he replied, I asked you to do something. Since when have I needed to explain myself? If you can do it, then do it. If not, then get someone else to do it. The staff member's heart suddenly quivered. Don't worry, President Su. It will definitely be done well. As soon as the call ended, the staff member quickly took action. With the help of professional technicians, they quickly found the video of Zai Wen pushing Jiang Ran as well as the video of Jiang Ran getting someone to slander Zai Wen. After the information was sorted out, someone from the Su family contacted Song Kai, who picked up the call. When he heard that the other party was from the Su family group, Song Kai almost dropped his mobile phone. Had the Su family group taken a fancy to their small production group? When he heard that they were hoping for the production team to step forward and prove Zai Wen's identity, Song Kai was dumbfounded. It took him a few seconds to regain his senses. Why would the Su group care about such a small matter? What was Zai Wen's relationship with the Su group? But now that he was thinking about all the rumors about Zai Wan, Song Kai felt that he had noticed something. He really didn't expect Zai Jin to actually have a backer like the Su family. And so, the crew of Prosperous Like a Dream made an official announcement, saying that Zai Wan had become an investor in the production. The internet exploded. Just as a heated discussion was brewing on the internet forums, another marketing account with 1 million fans came out and posted 2 videos with the caption, "Zai Wen doesn't have a sugar daddy, nor did she hit anyone. Jiang Ran framed her." The netizens were instantly attracted by the clickbait-esque title. When they clicked into the article, they were greeted with 2 videos. One of them was the one where Zai Wen pushed Jiang Ran. In the video, everyone could clearly see that Jiang Ran had fallen to the ground before Zai Wen could even touch her, and shortly after that, the media had swarmed them to take photographs of the incident. It was obvious that this was a plot specifically targeting Zai Wan. The other video was that of Jiang Ran making a phone call in a corner. The jealousy in her voice could be clearly heard in the video. "That's right. I want Zai Wan's future to be completely ruined. Get your men to expose online that she has a sugar daddy. Evidence. Can't you just randomly find someone who looks similar to her and take a couple of photos? Why do I have to teach this to you? As long as you can get it done, money isn't a problem." The naked evidence was right in front of them. Under the high-definition lens, Jiang Ran's ferocious and proud expression could be clearly seen. She simply couldn't refute this evidence. The netizens were silent, and so were Jiang Ran's fans who had previously hated on Zai Wan. The anger in the ones who had been fooled by this scheme was unimaginable. Soon, a tidal wave of criticism swept the internet, but it wasn't directed at Zai Wan this time. Jiang Ran, who was drinking in her apartment and preparing to celebrate, was dumbfounded when she saw a large number of comments flooding her comment section. Especially among those who scolded her, there were a few fans who had liked her for a few years. She immediately sobered up. When she saw that her deeds were exposed, the phone slid down from her hand. "It's finished." Her reputation was completely ruined. No, she still had a chance. She wasn't the only celebrity who did this kind of thing. She was just accidentally discovered. As long as the company was willing to protect her, she could still make a comeback. Living together, Jiang Ran immediately picked up her phone and called her manager. After the call was connected, her manager's furious voice came through. "You still have the gall to call me. The things you did have been posted all over the internet. Do you know that you've implicated the company as well?" Jiang Ran begged in a low voice, "Sister Lai, I really know I was wrong. Please give me another chance. I won't do this kind of thing again. The company has spent so much money and energy to train me, and I haven't repaid the company yet." Sister Lai snorted coldly. "So why didn't you think about what the company has done for you before you did something so stupid? Why didn't you think of cleaning up your tracks? You're telling me this now. It's too late." Just now, when you called me, the Su Corporation released a statement saying that Zai Wan is a shareholder of theirs. Do you think we can afford to offend such a person? There are only 2 solutions now. You can either pay 6 million in compensation fees, and the company will pretend that this never happened, or you can prepare to terminate the contract and compensate us for it. After saying that, Sister Lai hung up the phone impatiently. Jiang Ran leaned back on the sofa, her mind in a daze. What? A shareholder of the Su Corporation? How could she be a shareholder of the Su Corporation? If she had such a powerful background, why didn't she say anything when Jiang Ran was targeting her? Was it just to see her make a mistake and make a fool of herself? That's right, she must have planned all of this. She must have done it on purpose. Zai Wen leaned her head against the car window. She was feeling drowsy and was about to doze off, but then the system suddenly woke her up. What's wrong? An earthquake. Zai Wen jolted up and looked around, but accidentally ended up looking straight at Suzanne. They stared at each other for what seemed like a century until Zai Wen laughed dryly. I was still in a daze. Carry on. Seeing that Suzanne had retracted his gaze, Zai Wen relaxed her body, gritted her teeth, and said to the system, "You'd better give me a reasonable explanation for that." Host, the video of Jiang Ran falling down has been posted on the internet. Now everyone knows that you've been wronged. The netizens' opinions of you have completely changed. And not only that, the Su Corporation has also announced your identity as a shareholder. What? When did such a good thing happen? Am I that lucky? Zai Wen was equally shocked. After watching the production team and the Su Corporation's maintenance, Zai Wen felt that her happiness was about to take flight. The system made a guess. Host, do you think it's possible that Su Zun did this? Zai Wen immediately denied it. That's impossible. Su Zun was also reborn, so he probably hates my guts. Why would he help me? Oh, no, it must be because Grandpa is worried about me. I'll be even more filial to the old man in the future, she said with a smile. At this time, Su Zun did not know that because he was always cold-faced, Zai Wen had directly attributed this good deed he had done to his grandfather. Suddenly, the system exploded again. Oh no, Jiang Ran is the female lead's good friend, but her career has been ruined because of you. If anything happens to Jiang Ran, she will definitely not let you off. Zai Wen waved her hand nonchalantly. It's just a small matter. Don't mind it. The system's tone became even more agitated. You think this is a small matter? Yeah, because I'm going to see my big villa soon. I'm so happy that I could fly. Which was more important, the female lead or the big villa? Was this even a choice? Zai Wen covered her mouth and couldn't help but gloat to herself. However, the next moment, she met Su Zun's puzzled gaze. Her smile immediately disappeared, and she turned her face to the window and looked at the scenery outside, just like he himself had done. What are you laughing at? Su Zun asked coldly. Zai Wen shook her head firmly. No, you were seeing things. Seeing Zai Jin's determined look, Su Zun didn't ask further. Besides, he would know what he needed to know sooner or later. Soon after, they arrived at the villa. Zai Wen couldn't help but jump out of the car excitedly. She took the lead and walked into the villa, Su Zun following behind her. As he watched Zai Wen walk, looking like there was a spring in her steps, his eyes gradually darkened. No one knew what he was thinking about. The door opened. Su Zun was just about to walk in when he saw Zai Wen trying to close the door. His feet were one step faster than his brain. Before Su Zun's brain could react, his body moved without him and stuck one foot in the crack of the door, successfully stopping the door from closing. Realizing what a stupid thing he had done, Su Zun's face turned cold. What are you doing? Zai Wen turned around and looked at Su Zun's ashen face with an innocent expression. What else could I be doing? I'm closing the door, aren't I? After that, she sized up Su Zun and said with a sudden realization, don't tell me you're thinking of living here with me. Let's eat together. Su Zun's silence proved Zai Wen's conjecture to be true. A look of disdain momentarily crossed her face, but it was quickly replaced with a smile as she said, this is my house now. You can live here if you want, but you'll have to pay me. Initially, Zai Wen did not want to do this, but the system had kindly reminded her that the refrigerator in the villa was empty, so she could only ask Su Zun to help her. The system was very regretful of its thoughtless actions. If it had known this would happen, it wouldn't have said all this. Now Zai Wen was going to offend Su Zun again. Su Zun's face stiffened. Then tell me, what reward do you want? He asked in a low tone. This woman wouldn't ask him for money again, would she? Or was she trying to use this opportunity to get something in return for Ling Feng? Zai Wen rolled her eyes. I want to drink some wine. I want all kinds of fruit wine and red wine. Oh right, I also want to eat the freshest fruits. The refrigerator is empty, so give me all kinds of lobsters and vegetables, and also get some hot pot soup base. I can make some myself if I'm hungry. She walked towards the kitchen. Is there a hot pot here? Su Zun frowned at her words and said in disagreement, you can eat hot pot in a restaurant outside. It'll be too stuffy if you eat it in the house. I have money. I can hire someone to clean the villa, Zai Wen immediately replied. After looking around, Zai Wen said disappointedly, as expected, I can't make hot pot after all. Then, she looked at Su Zun suspiciously. How long are you going to stay here? If he was going to stay for a long time, she didn't mind, but he would have to pay for the room. Zai Wen's expression looked as if she was going to settle the score with him. Seeing that, Su Zun was so angry that he almost laughed. Although this villa was given to Zai Wen by the old master, why didn't she know how to be polite? He was only sleeping here for a day and yet he already had to buy so many things. And now she was just short of saying that if he wanted to continue sleeping here, he would have to pay. I'll get Chang Wen to buy the things you've mentioned. He knows where to get the freshest ones. Also, do you need any desserts? He thought that most girls like desserts, so Suzanne simply thought that he'd request for all of them in one go so that Jiang Wen, his assistant, would not have to make so many trips to buy desserts. As expected, Zai Wen's eyes lit up. That's a good suggestion. So you like to eat desserts too. It seems like we have a common interest. When did he say that he loved desserts? At this moment, Jiang Wen, who had received a message and rushed over with a pile of documents in his arms, walked in breathlessly. Boss, do you have any orders? Su Zun looked at Zai Wen. Tell him your request again. Zai Wen smiled. Okay, then take your phone and write it down. I'm afraid you won't be able to remember it all. Most importantly, she was afraid that Jiang Wen would miss some things. While she was talking to Jiang Wen, she quietly added more things she wanted him to buy. By the time Jiang Wen was done recording, his memo was full. He looked at Zai Wan and then at his boss. Why did the young madam order so much wine? And these dishes were obviously for hot pot. He remembered that the boss didn't like to eat hot pot. He'd always thought that the taste of hot pot was too strong. Could it be that the relationship between the boss and the madam had improved to the point where the boss wanted to eat hot pot and drink wine to create a romantic atmosphere? Great. The boss had finally thought it through. He knew it. Why was the boss still so chaste even when he was with such a beautiful wife? She heard that the two of them were married in name only. They didn't usually eat together, but now they were close enough to drink together. This was a necessary step to warm up their relationship. Jiang Wen was full of anticipation and ended up buying a lot of wine. After he returned, Zai Wen watched as he stuffed all sorts of bags into the villa. The originally empty refrigerator was filled to the brim. Zai Wen silently gave Jiang Wen a big thumbs up. You're really amazing. After that, Zai Wen happily made a fruit salad for herself, poured some wine as a treat, washed some pretty plates, and placed the food on them. Even Jiang Wen was a little envious, thinking of the old master's orders to create as many opportunities as possible for the president and his wife to interact with each other. Jiang Wen took the initiative to say, Madam, it's better to enjoy hot pot with everyone. Why don't you eat with the boss? Zai Jin was stunned for a moment. She thought that Suzan had wanted to eat something else. After all, Suzan didn't seem like he liked hot pot at all. Does he like hot pot? Zai Wen asked, puzzled. Jiang Wen remained silent. Should he tell the truth? Of course not. The truth was clearly not something that could be said at this time. Why don't you go and ask the boss? Maybe he might like it, he ended up saying.